yogis. I'm Lauren, and today let's work on our balance. Being able to balance is so important, especially as we age. And it's for a really simple reason. The better we are at balancing, the less likely we will be to fall and get injured. I personally love balance poses because they firmly root me in the present moment. I have to really focus, or else I will wobble and fall out of the posture. You'll find that some days balancing is really easy, and others it just doesn't seem to happen for you, and that's really normal. In fact, our ability to balance is so fluid that it changes throughout the day. The morning is meant to be when our balance is at its best before we get blown around by the winds of life. For our practice today, if you're worried about falling, perhaps practice next to a wall or have a chair handy. We'll start in Tadasana, so standing at the top of your mat. Hands come together at heart center, and the eyes fall shut. Taking the moment to slow down and connect to the breath. As you inhale, reach the crown of the head up to the sky. And as you exhale, feel your feet rooting down into the earth. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale to ground into the feet. Completing one more round with the timing of your own breath. Then let the practice fall away. Keeping your eyes closed, gently shift your weight from side to side. Seeing how your body compensates while trying to rest most of your body weight onto one foot. Then eventually finding your central position, the spot where you feel most stable. Slowly blink the eyes open. On an inhale, reach the hands up to the sky. As you exhale, fold forward, bending from the hips, head reaching towards the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, hands coming onto the shins, on the thighs, or maybe onto your fingertips. Just finding a position where you can have a straight back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, ground into the feet, rising all the way up, hands reaching towards the sky. Exhale, hands find heart center. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, bend from the hips, folding forward. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into the feet, rising the upper body up, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Completing one more round, using the timing of your own breath to move through these movements. We'll meet back in Tadasana. Moving back into chair, the hands come out in front of us, the hips sink back and down. Inhale to reach the arms further forward. And exhale, Bringing the hands down, coming up onto the tiptoes. And then inhale, heels of the feet come back onto the mat, hands rise up. Do 2 more of these. So exhale, coming up onto the tippy toes, arms reaching down and behind. We inhale, back into chair. Exhale, rise up on the tippy toes, balancing here. And inhale to come back into our chair. And rise up, back to Tadasana. Let's take the time now to find our drishti. So drishti in yoga is where your gaze falls. They're particularly important in balancing poses because fixing your eyes to one spot will really help you to stay balanced. So finding a mark or a corner of the skirting on the wall in front of you, something that's about eye level, staring at that spot. Lift your right knee into the air and the hands come up above the head with the fingertips dripping down. We find ourselves in crane. As you exhale, letting the heel of the foot guide your movement. Reach the leg down and back behind you, finding warrior 3. The arms are by your sides, reaching back behind you. Now we should have our drishti on the floor, so finding a spot, perhaps the top of your mat or a knot in your wooden floors, just something that you can fix your eyes to. And on your next inhale, letting the hands guide the movement, coming back into our crane. And then Tadasana. Moving onto the other side, begin to pour your weight over that right foot, lifting the left knee up towards your chest, the hands also rising up, the fingertips dripping down like raindrops. On an exhale, pushing that left heel out behind you, finding warrior 3, changing that drishti. And inhale, coming back up to crane. And exhale, finding Tadasana. Bringing your hands back to heart center. Bring your weight to come over the left foot. Lifting the right knee so it comes out in front of you. And opening through the hip to find tree pose. You have a few options here. The toes of that right foot could rest on the mat, or that foot could come to the ankle, the shin, maybe onto the thigh, just avoiding pressing into that left knee. The hands can stay at heart center, or to test your balance a little more, bringing them up overhead like you're a tall tree and those hands are waving in the breeze. And know that it's perfectly okay to wobble here. I don't think any of us can day after day have a perfect balance pose. Bringing the hands back in front of the chest. The right foot comes back onto the ground. Begin to pour the weight over the right leg, lifting the left knee, rotating outwards through the hip, and finding tree pose on this side. using any variation that is challenging but is also achievable for you. Keeping your focus on the drishti in front of you. When you're ready, hands come back to heart center and stepping back into Tadasana. Now for our final balance pose, we'll set up for eagle pose. So the weight comes onto the left foot, the right knee comes up, and this time cross the right leg over the left, either staying here or if you have the reach, tucking the right foot behind the left calf. The arms can stay as they are, or you can bring the right arm under the left, and if you can, bring the palms together. If the palms together is too much, you can just do the one cross, totally fine. You're probably wobbling here already, and it's okay if you fall out, just come back in. It's a bit like a toddler learning to walk, you're bound to have some wobbles. And if you're feeling pretty stable here, on each exhale, you could lower the hips a little more. And then with as much control as possible, uncross the arms, uncross the legs, coming back to Tadasana. Moving onto eagle pose on the other side, this time bringing your weight over that right leg. The left knee comes up and the left leg crosses over the right, either tucking once or tucking twice. This time, the left arm comes underneath the right, palms either coming together or close to it, or just doing that one tuck. And with the arms here, you want to try and bring the elbows up so that they are in line with the shoulders and the hands are pressing out away from the face. The drishti gets really tricky with your arms in front of your face, so you could either gaze at the hands or you might be able to find that little gap in between the forearms and look through there. There's no doubt about the fact that this pose is extremely challenging, and if you fall, just making your way back in. Perhaps starting to let the hips sink down with each exhale. And when you've had enough, slowly unraveling, coming back to Tadasana. With the hands at heart center, slowly begin to lower the hips towards the floor. And the aim is to squat down, so if you need to, coming up onto the tiptoes here, resting a moment in this squat, and then rolling down onto your bottom, using the hands if you need to. Lie down onto your back. The hands can come to the belly or out wide. The knees come to rest against one another. Finding constructive rest pose. Please stay here for as long as you like. If you'd like to continue strengthening through your feet and ankles, I encourage you to try the Forgiving Feet class. And if you liked that this class helped to build on your yoga skills, you might like to try Woke Warriors. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.